let's talk about the Black Diamond Equipment Circuit 2.0 approach shoe. Now, first, let me preface this review by saying I'm not a rock climber. I'm not even like a really big hiker, but I do put on quite a bit of steps. And the reason for buying these shoes was that I was going on a 1-month trip to the Philippines, and I was doing it backpacking style, and I just kind of assumed I'd be kind of hiking around. I wanted to stay mobile. Thought maybe I'd hit some trails. So I wanted kind of a rugged shoe. Now I'm gonna go over my buying process. So first, I thought what I wanted was some hiking shoes. So I got these, they're Eddie Bauer hiking shoes, but I got them and I put them on and walked a bit just up and down the walking path by my condo. And they were just too much of a hiking shoe. The hiking part, it was just too prevalent. Just kind of, big, clunky, like they look like hiking shoes. And I didn't want to be the backpacker that has like the 50 liter, 40 liter backpack, 60 liter, I don't know. The one. Strap a sleeping bag underneath and go live in the woods for a month. I didn't want to be that backpacking guy. And I didn't want, because I knew I was going to be in the city some. So I didn't necessarily want a shoe that looked like a hiking shoe. I didn't want to look like I was wearing a hiking shoe everywhere I went. So I knew what I wanted was more just a rugged kind of sneaker style shoe. And I don't know if it's because I went on Eddie Bauer's website and bought these, but on Facebook I started to get ads for, the Black Diamond Equipment Circuit 2.0 shoe, which oddly just happened to be exactly what I was looking for. I wanted something that looked like a sneaker, that was a little more rugged, that could handle doing a hiking trip, that had a little better grip. But if I went to a club, at night, you're not gonna know that this is, like a hybrid hiking shoe sneaker. It just looks like a regular shoe. So, I feel like it was the perfect shoe, exactly what I was looking for. But you might ask yourself, why do I have 2 pairs? Well, here's the one thing that is probably going to be the most important part of this review. When I wear Adidas sneakers, I wear a size 9.5. Now there's some other brands where I wear a size 10. I think I'm wearing size 9.5 right now. And I also didn't want to wear my Florsheim sneakers because number one, they just don't have a whole lot of grip. I knew I'd be slipping all over the place if I was on a trail. And I really just didn't want to be dinging up the leather on this, So I didn't just want to wear regular sneakers. I wanted something a little bit more rugged, something that could handle putting a few miles on. Well, I guess these are 9.5 too. But, so I originally ordered the size 9.5 in these. And while not obnoxiously small, somewhat uncomfortable small. So they're just, the 9.5, so like some brands I order a 9.5, some brands I order a 10. This is a brand where go with your bigger size. If sometimes you're a 9.5, sometimes you're a 10, order the 10. If sometimes you're a 10.5 and sometimes you're 11, order the 11. I can wear these and I can walk in them, and they're not super uncomfortable, but because of the rubber tip, they just don't flex like a different shoe might. So when it's snug, it's just gonna be snug. I don't think there really is any breaking these in. And I had ordered these, and boy, I walked in them for about a week. That's why I didn't return them. I walked in them for about a week. So they're solidly a used shoe at this point. But I kind of realized, because there was one point when I was walking on the trail, the walking path by my place, where I don't know if I jumped over something or something, but I kind of moved, and you know, when you move a different way, your toes will kind of like fan out and help support you. And in these, my toes just felt like they kind of crinkled and rolled over because there just wasn't any room for them to fan out. So I just kind of knew then, I was like, no, I need to go a size up because the shoe is just too small. So I ended up buying these, which originally I wanted to buy these black and blue ones to begin with, but they didn't have these in a 9.5. So that's why I went with this color with the 9.5. And then, well, I ended up ordering these and got them in the size 10. And I didn't really have much time before my trip to break them in. So I just kind of rolled with them and hoped for the best. And they actually ended up being super comfortable once they were broke in. My traveling flight to the Philippines was probably all in all 36 hours or so. Maybe a little bit more. That's kind of a rough estimate. And on my real long haul flight, even though they gave you slippers to wear, I did not take my shoes off. So I did wear these for a solid like 36 hours straight right off the bat. And a lot of it was not moving. And I will say, if you wear this shoe for that extended amount of time, your feet do get kind of waterlogged almost, I would say. You know, they might not breathe super good. I feel like they should breathe really good, but I don't know if the upper rubber here around your toes kind of inhibits the breathing, just around like this area of the foot. Because when I got to my Airbnb in the Philippines, I took my shoes and socks off, obviously, and it's a long time wearing shoes, and my feet looked like they were drenched in water for a really long time. You know, that they get that kind of white look to them of being wrinkly and white. And so I don't know. Granted, you're probably never going to wear these for 36 hours straight. But if I was to do that long haul flight again, I would probably take these off. Although I should say I flew back. Although I didn't do the trip all in one, I did stay at a hotel, so it kind of broke it up. So I didn't have the full 36 hours start to finish to get over there. But I did do probably 18 hours in these, and my feet weren't nearly as bad. So I think it's just if you really go up and over, you know, a full day wearing these, your feet are going to want these off your feet, which, like I said, that's a pretty extended time frame. But I got over there, started using them as my daily shoe, and they just felt really comfortable to wear as a shoe. The one thing I will say is, you know, one reason I didn't want to wear these is, you know, there's like the outside of the shoe, but then they've got this kind of like inner fabric that I would assume kind of, you know, just it wraps your ankle a little bit more, so like rocks and stuff don't get inside your shoe. I get the point of this for hiking, because nobody wants a shoe in there or a rock in their shoe when you're hiking. But with those shoes, you really need to wear long socks. I didn't plan on wearing long socks. I don't wear like the super like low no-show socks, but I do wear, you know, the regular ankle socks, not with any you know, show, you know, it doesn't go up super high. So, and I actually packed these Adidas ones that I have where I think they're like a little too small for me, so they don't pull up on the back of my foot super far. So on days where I did put a lot of steps in, I did notice the back of this shoe, like my sock would go below this shoe line, and this would rub on the back of my ankle. And on my right ankle, it did get tore up. I did find that if I was going to do a lot of walking, I really had to make sure I pulled my sock up. So be a little conscious of that. Don't wear no-show socks or really low-profile socks and then think you're going to go do a lot of steps in these, because the back of that, if your sock falls down, will tear up your foot. But overall, once I got the shoe broke in, It felt really nice and comfortable. It just felt like a regular sneaker, like any shoe that I have that's comfortable to wear. Being as it is sneaker style, you know, it's more of a flat shoe. It's not really, it's not going to be your shoe where I'm going to buy this and stand on concrete for 10 hours a day working overtime. This shoe, your foot ain't going to like it in this shoe. Well, you can hike and move around and it's a comfortable shoe. There's not an insane amount of support in this thing. But, you know, would I wear this shoe to the Philippines again? Yes, I think it was the perfect travel shoe. I didn't end up doing any hiking because I didn't realize just how humid it was in the Philippines. And while I put quite a few steps in, most of the places I would go, I would end up driving the scooter I rented. And I just didn't do the hiking I thought I would. I talked to a lot of local people and they're like, oh yeah, there's some good trails, but you know, you really got to leave before the sun comes up, stay there all day, and then hike back as the sun's coming down. And I just didn't want to wander off into unknown lands in the middle, you know, when it's dark out in a country I don't know. I didn't really know what animals I was going to run into, if there was going to be any snakes or anything. So I thought, you know, I'm not going to do any night hiking, so I just really didn't do any of that. But I will say I did go into a cave, and I was wearing these. And the cave had like a swimming pool thing that people would hop in at the bottom of it. And, you know, obviously it's a cave. It's rocks everywhere. And some big rocks, and everything was super wet, super humid in the cave. And I saw some people that were wearing flip-flops that would go down there, and they were kind of like slipping around. They're like, oh, be careful, it's really slippery, be careful, it's really slippery. In this shoe, I did not slip at all. Now, I wasn't like hopping around trying to do weird, stupid things to test the shoe out, but in general, walking and stepping up on rocks and moving around on slippery rocks, like my feet never once felt like they were gonna slide somewhere. They felt very, very secure on a wet rock. So I think that's probably the biggest testament to this shoe, is being in that cave and being on wet rocks that other people found slippery and I did not. So I really do like this shoe. The other reason I bought it was because I'd usually either have my day pack on me, which was a 10-liter sling, or I thought, you know, I never traveled with my backpack, but I thought I might, but I mostly traveled with my sling. Well, what I'd wind up doing is if I was riding my scooter somewhere, I like to wear shoes when I ride a scooter. I don't like to ride a scooter with flip-flops. So I'd wear these, wear my socks. When I'd get where I'd going, I'd have my flip-flops attached to my side of my sling on these, or on this carabiner. And then I'd just swap it. I'd throw my flip-flops on, put my socks in my shoes, and then I would clip my shoes to the bottom of my sling. And that was the other reason I bought these, because they had nice hooks to be able to do this with, or nice loops. Nice loops so that I could hook my shoes to it. And I do like these little locking clips so that you're not accidentally going to lose something. You have to spin it. So I really did like these. You know, I never really stubbed my toe into anything, but maybe I didn't notice because I had a nice rubber tip. So the extra toe protection I think is really nice. The soft rubber bottom I think is super nice. It doesn't feel so soft right now, but when you're in like 85-degree weather and walking on, you know, hot tar and different hot surfaces, I feel like the rubber becomes just that much more pliable, and I think that was part of the reason why it was so grippy in the cave. I think the rubber just gets softer. Now, would this shoe be as grippy outside right now? I live in Fargo, North Dakota, and it is, well, we're having a very mild winter right now. It's 15 degrees outside. If I was to wear these outside, I do think the rubber would get a little bit more stiff and maybe not quite have that grippiness to it, because I think the grippiness comes with how soft the rubber tends to get especially as you're like moving around and if the ground is soft. But I haven't wore these outside to verify that, so that's just me kind of spitballing, thinking the harder the rubber gets, probably not going to be quite as grippy. Looking at their website quick just to see if there's anything else I should mention about this thing. No, I think that's about it. Final thoughts on this shoe. I'm definitely keeping this shoe. I don't know what I'm going to do with my 9.5s. You know, they're $130, $140 a shoe, so it's kind of hard to just chuck them. $130 a shoe. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do with my other ones. I might try to find somebody to give them to them that has maybe just slightly smaller feet than I do. Might just sit in my closet for a while. But super happy with this shoe. I probably would not wear it as my everyday shoe. I think I would definitely more use it as if I'm going camping. I mean, it's essentially what this shoe is designed for, is the getting out and doing things. So I think that's what I'm going to keep the shoe as. I don't want to wear it as my everyday shoe and just wear it out. I want to keep it as my, you know, I'm going to go hiking today, or I'm going, you know, on vacation. I think I might go back to the Philippines because there's a few islands I'd like to spend a little bit more time on and see a few more things. 100% going to bring these shoes again. I thought they worked really well for travel. So the only thing, I don't know how this shoe is when it gets wet. I was kind of curious about that because thinking about having flip-flops and shoes, I didn't realize there was so many sea urchins there. And we're walking through the ocean, because I went snorkeling and stuff, walking through the sand, you know, the flip-flop kind of can get sucked into the sand and want to come off. I thought water shoes would be kind of handy, and it kind of made me wonder, like, how would this shoe stand up to getting fully submerged? I don't know. I didn't want to ruin my shoe while I was in the Philippines and try it out, and I don't really want to ruin them now because, you know, they're expensive. So I'm not going to test that out, but I kind of wondered if I go back there, I might actually bring a pair of water shoes instead of flip-flops. I'm not quite sure. Depends upon how much time I plan on spending in the water. But I think if you're in the water a lot, water shoes would be kind of handy over there. But yeah, if you have any questions about this shoe, go ahead and throw it down in the comments section. Once again, I am not a like super hiker or mountain climber or rock climber or anything like that. I was just in the market for a good rugged shoe that just looked like a sneaker. Like nobody would notice I'm wearing something a little more rugged than your average sneaker. So I think this is perfect for what I wanted it for. Traveling, a little bit of hiking, a little bit of cave exploring, and yeah, that's my final thoughts. Till next time, have a good day.